what's the name again?
The dry roasting boss.
The dry roasting boss.
Yellow leaf tea.
Yeah, I'm like a little tea bud. Hi, we're Sama and Rainy. Welcome back. So last week we talked about green tea, and this week let's talk about yellow tea. I wear yellow today.
And this video was quite interesting for us to film as well because both of us didn't know as much about this very rare tea type.
Yeah.
So it was quite informative for us. We hope you enjoy it as much as we did. And in the meantime, we'll be drinking 2 yellow teas that we were able to get our hands on.
And just a little side note, so usually we do Gongfu cha style in the video. Today we're adding another popular style in China that's used for brewing delicate teas such as yellow teas and green teas. However, because there are 2 of us today, so instead of drinking directly from the glass, Sama will pour the liquor out.
And basically, whereas Gongfu, you do multiple steepings, short steepings in the glass, you just kind of leave the leaves in the glass and just drink straight from the glass and brew it for as long as your tastes allow. What is yellow tea?
Yellow tea is the 3rd most oxidized tea between green tea and black tea.
And as far as we're aware, yellow tea is only produced in China.
Yeah, so something really interesting. When it comes to yellow tea processing, it's actually very similar to a green tea. You pluck the leaves, you wither them, go through the shotting, the kill grain process, roll them, and then dry them. The main difference is before you dry the leaves, you actually want to mildly ferment the tea leaves. And this process in Chinese is referred as men huang, okay, and in English is translated as sealing yellow.
And when you ferment the tea leaves, it also gives it a slight yellow color. That's also kind of where the yellow tea name comes from. But during this process, what you do is that you wrap it in a thin piece of paper, or you pile it up and you layer it with a humid fabric. This is to ferment the tea leaves minimally and gently. And the process takes only like 10 minutes to maybe a few hours. Really depends on the level of humidity. So the more concentrated the humidity level and the higher the temperature of the environment, the faster the tea leaves will ferment. So when was yellow tea first discovered?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Unfortunately, yellow tea's origin is a little untraceable because back in ancient China, yellow tea's definition was a little different compared to today. When yellow tea first showed up in historical documents, it wasn't exactly defined by the sealing yellow process, but rather they were teas with natural raw leaves and raw tea buds that were yellow in color.
And the problem with identifying yellow tea that way is that you can very easily mistake an old and potentially poor quality green tea as a yellow tea. So what eventually changed in categorizing tea as a yellow tea was the sealing process as opposed to relying on identifying the tea by its natural color. So there are 3 major types of yellow tea, and they're categorized by their leaf size, quite similar to the way that white tea is categorized.
So firstly, we have yellow teas that are only buds. For example, there is the Junshan Yinzhen from Hunan province, and then we have the Huoshan Huangya from Anhui province. And another one that's quite famous is Mengding Huangya, and which is from Sichuan. So these 3 yellow teas are probably the most internationally well-known and accessible outside of China. And if you think about it, they're quite similar to a white tea silver needle, except that the silver needle is only produced from one region in China, versus these ones are produced in various regions. And then secondly, we have the small leaf yellow tea, which has 1 tea bud with 1 tea leaf or 2 tea leaves. And there are many varieties of in this category. However, the one that we would like to mention is called 北港毛尖 from, again, Hunan province. Basically, it was once considered the king of yellow tea because it was exclusively offered to the emperors and the royals.
And lastly, we have the big leaf yellow tea. So it has big leaves and large twigs. It has a peculiar nickname, Old Dry Roasting Boss. And this might come from, this might come from its flavor profile, which tends to be more on the roasted side. And it tends to have a little bit of a darker brew. Anyhow, initially it was only grown in Anhui, it was only produced in Anhui, China, but now it's produced all over China. When you're brewing yellow tea, if it is bud yellow tea or small leaf yellow tea, you want to brew it at anywhere between 80 degrees Celsius to 85 degrees Celsius. But if it is the big leaf yellow tea, you can brew it up to 90 degrees Celsius. And the liquor usually ranges anywhere from water-like, again, to this time a little bit more of like a light brown or light yellow.
Yeah, and here's a comparison, as you can see, of a Junshan Yingzhen liquor and versus a Huoshan Huangya liquor.
Both of these are bud teas.
So yellow teas have a pretty unique flavor profile. On one hand, they retain the refreshness and the clean taste of a green tea, but they taste more sweet and more umami and more chestnut-like. Some rare green teas from certain regions are mildly perfumed by pine tree smoke, hence the taste could be a little more smoky too.
Because of the sealing process of yellow tea, yellow teas typically have more digestive enzymes. This means that it helps you digest better, and it also means that it's less acidic in your stomach. So last time when we talked about green teas, we recommended not drinking more than 3 steepings of green teas because they have a high concentration of tannins. What a high concentration of tannins does is it makes your stomach more acidic. So you don't have the same problem with yellow teas. That was another quick peek into another major tea type, yellow teas. Next time, we're going to be talking about our favorite tea type,
oolong teas!
Anyways, like always, commit and like our videos, and happy steeping!
Happy steeping! Cheers!